This is CBN NewsWatch.
Joining us, I'm Ephraim Graham. President Donald Trump gave his detractors plenty of ammunition while standing beside President Vladimir Putin at Monday's Helsinki news conference. The commander-in-chief refused to side with the findings of his own intelligence community that Putin's government used illegal hacking to influence America's election. CBN's national security correspondent Erko Sales has a look at the fallout.
President Trump is back at the White House. Welcomed by protesters after his one-on-one meeting with Russia President Vladimir Putin, the man U.S. intelligence says was behind the meddling in the 2016 presidential election.
I do feel that we have both made some mistakes. I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
The president later tweeted, "I have great confidence in my intelligence people. However, I also recognize that in order to build a brighter future, we cannot exclusively focus on the past. As the world's two largest nuclear powers, we must get along." Putin denied the charges.
The Russian state has never interfered and is not going to interfere into internal American affairs, including election process.
But just days ago, special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation led to the indictment of 12 Russian military officers for conspiring to interfere with the 2016 election. In his first post-meeting comments, the president again appeared not to call out Putin.
We get questions on the witch hunt, and I don't think the people out in the country buy it.
Putin did not deny the hacking took place in an interview with Fox News' Chris Wallace.
The idea was about hacking an email account of a Democratic candidate. Was it some rigging of facts? Was it some forgery of facts? That's the important thing that I'm trying to, the important point that I'm trying to make. Was this any false information planted? No, it wasn't.
President Trump's statements didn't sit well with both sides on Capitol Hill. House Speaker Paul Ryan said, "No question, Russia interfered with the election and is not our ally." And Ryan wasn't alone. Republican Arizona Senator Jeff Flake tweeted, "I never thought I would see the day when our American president would stand on the stage with the Russian president and place blame on the United States for Russian aggression." South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham called it a missed opportunity by President Trump to firmly hold Russia accountable.
The president took the word of the KGB over the brave, hardworking men and women of the CIA.
Current and former intelligence top brass condemned President Trump's statements. National Intelligence Director Dan Coats said, "We have been clear in our assessments of Russia's meddling in the 2016 election." And former CIA Chief John Brennan called President Trump's actions nothing short of treasonous. Other big issues discussed, like Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea and nuclear arms, didn't get much attention. However, Syria held up a point of possible collaboration between the two. Both sides said that they would work together on a humanitarian basis for the country and ensure the security for neighboring countries like Israel. Eric Rosales, CBN News.
Hawaii tour board operators plan to continue taking visitors to see lava, but will stay farther away after a boat was pelted with falling rock from the Kilauea volcano, injuring 23 people. Ardell Hurd is on this story.
It's called Lava Ocean Tours, but this wasn't what the guests signed on for. An explosion from the Kilauea volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii fired lava and chunks of debris hundreds of yards in the air and right through the roof of their tour boat Monday.
The vessel called in that it had some injuries due to steam burns and injuries from falling lava debris.
4 passengers were taken by ambulance to a hospital, including a 20-year-old woman who was described as having a broken thigh and major leg trauma. Glenda Fay was on another boat when it happened.
It just exploded straight out at the boat. We could hear the rocks hit the boat and the people yelling.
At the time that it did that, all we saw was a bunch of steam and the rocks and stuff flying, and a lot of it landed inside the boat, and some large pieces landed on top of the boat.
The tour boat is one of several that take visitors to see lava pouring into the ocean from the volcano. The captain of another boat said suspending the tours would only hurt the local economy. Molten rock has been erupting from Kilauea since early May and has destroyed more than 700 homes. The volcano has been pumping out much more lava than in the past, as much as 26 times the amount as the 2016 eruption. Officials have warned that getting too close to lava entering the ocean can mean exposure to toxic fumes and even fine glass particles. Despite the hazards, the tour boats have been operating near the volcano for more than 20 years and will continue to do so. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Here now is a look at some of the other stories we're following for you today inside the CBN newsroom. A shelter for immigrants in Texas says the U.S. government has begun transporting children to be reunited with their parents. Those officials say children are taking, quote, tremendous amount of airline flights to different cities. The Texas facility is also preparing to take in as many as 100 families each day. A July 26th court-ordered deadline is approaching to reunite children ages 5 to 17 with their parents. The Trump administration appears to be shifting tactics in Afghanistan. Reports say the administration is open to holding direct talks with the Taliban as a way of encouraging negotiations between the militant group and the Afghan government. The Taliban has long refused direct talks with the Afghan government, instead demanding to negotiate with Washington. A Taliban official says no one has yet been in touch with them to start those direct talks. School officials in Virginia are renaming a school for a Confederate general. The school board voted to rename Stonewall Jackson Middle School to John P. Fishwick Middle School. The school's basketball court, athletic and band uniforms, and signage will also be replaced. Now, for more on these stories and others throughout the day, you can always visit us at cbnnews.com. The Treasury Department is no longer requiring tax-exempt organizations to identify their donors. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says Americans should not be required to send the IRS information it doesn't need to enforce tax laws. This new policy includes politically active groups like the NRA and Planned Parenthood. The IRS came under fire several years ago for targeting tax-exempt political groups tied to the Tea Party movement. Some fear a new report opens the door for designer babies in the United Kingdom. That report encourages altering DNA in babies to give them what their parents deem as the best chance in life. Genome editing, as it is called, is not normally acceptable, says one of the authors. However, studies show the procedure for replacing so-called faulty genes can damage healthy ones. The UK currently bans the practice. Coming up, the new president of the Southern Baptist Convention says it has to focus on its key priorities, saving souls and planting churches. We've got that story for you when we come back. The new president of the Southern Baptist Convention wants the denomination to refocus its priorities on evangelism and church planting. And Pastor J.D. Greer knows what he's talking about, as his megachurch is on track to plant 1,000 churches over the course of the next 50 years. Our Heather Sells is in Durham, North Carolina, to bring us this story.
The summit believes that all believers, not just pastors and missionaries, are sent. And in the last 17 years, it's done just that.
Being called by God means taking what God is giving you and leveraging it for the purpose of the Great Commission.
Pastor J.D. Greer has been leveraging his church for 17 years, and the results are off the charts. This 10,000-member congregation has 40 church plants in the U.S. and more than 200 overseas. It's also working close to home in Greensboro. The Mercy Hill church plant started 6 years ago in this park with just 40 people. Today, more than 2,000 attend Mercy Hill on 3 campuses, and close to 800 here have been baptized.
I mean, we came here, and yes, that's a small team of 30 people, but when they're all incredibly bought in, I mean, to one vision.
And that single vision is the Great Commission. The summit calls it sending, and it starts when parents dedicate their children.
We have them covenant, as part of this parent commissioning, that when, they're going to raise them for the purposes of the Great Commission, and when God calls their son or daughter perhaps to Afghanistan or Southeast Asia to take the gospel, that they covenant as parents they're not going to stand in the way.
The children's area looks like an airport to plant the thought with kids that they're sent each week to share Jesus.
We want them to feel Like they are part of the mission and they are part of the work that they get to go and tell their friends.
By middle school, the summit wants its young students to have experienced a short-term missions trip with their family. In high school, that grows to 3 weeks overseas with summit missionaries. And in college, it encourages a summer of missions work, along with a big ask that college graduates pursue their first job near a church plant.
When we plant churches, we just throw this out and say, hey, you graduate, you got to move somewhere. Move with one of our church plants.
I want to be a missionary. I believe that God has called us to go anywhere. Like it's not a question of when or anything, it's where and how.
The whole idea is you're a missionary with your life. You don't have to go across the ocean. You don't have to do anything special. Your life is your mission field.
The summit's focus on youth and college mobilization has helped pave the way for its incredible success with church plants. The week CBN News visited Mercy Hill, it commissioned a church plant team, including recent college grads, to Philadelphia.
They've equipped me and given me the tools to be able to send me out well.
The team also included several retirees, another summit strategy. It asks those headed for retirement to tie their first 2 years and give them to a plant. Greer admits that while missions and church planting have been a lifelong passion, his goal of 1,000 churches came almost as an afterthought.
I came up with it in the middle of a sermon. It felt right. And I just said it. We're going to plant 1,000 churches in 50 years. And then I walked off the stage and one of our pastors said, did you say 1,000 churches in 50 years? I said, yeah, we're going to have to figure out how to do that.
Greer acknowledges figuring out that growth can be painful. Each year, they encourage several new staff pastors to headhunt, recruiting the church's best for new plants.
100 of them stand on stage, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, those are very talented people who serve in our ministries, lead our ministries. Some of them are big givers. How are we going to do without them?
Greer wants to push the Southern Baptist denomination to cultivate these same priorities of evangelism and church planting. As part of this, he's also committed to raising up more people of color as church leaders. This timely decision comes in an era of declining Southern Baptist membership and racial discord, and his strategies appear to be on target.
I don't know how long his hand will be on us like this, but while it is, it's time for us to go and to reach people.
We tell our students, and everybody, but especially our students, God made you good at something. So whatever God made you good at, do it well to the glory of God and do it somewhere strategic for the mission of God.
Reporting in Durham, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Coming up, a new investigation into an old crime. The Justice Department is reopening its investigation of the murder of a 14-year-old black boy in the segregated South in 1955. You're going to hear how a voice from heaven led that young boy's cousin to forgive the men responsible for his death. That story's coming up next. Last week, the Department of Justice announced it was reopening the investigation into the death of Emmett Till. On August 28, 1955, 14-year-old Till was kidnapped and murdered for whistling at a white woman in the segregated South. Those responsible were never convicted. Emmett's younger cousin, Simeon Wright, watched as the two men abducted the boy, but decades later, that cousin said his heart had been convicted to forgive. I spoke to Till's late cousin, Simeon Wright, in 2010. Isaiah 11:6 reads, "A little child will lead them." And in some ways, that is the story of the fight against racism in America.
We were not going to take segregated buses any longer.
It was a child who inspired Rosa Parks when she refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus in Alabama, December 1st, 1955. That child was Emmett Till, a 14-year-old Chicago boy who made headlines only 4 months earlier. He was kidnapped and lynched while visiting family in Mississippi.
At the age of 12, could you imagine going to sleep at night and wake up the next door, your whole world is upside down?
Emmett was visiting his cousin Simeon Wright that summer. They were sleeping in the same room when two men showed up at the Wright family's home.
See, when they awakened Wheeler, they said, "This is the wrong boy. We're looking for the fat boy from Chicago." And they knew who they were looking for. At that time, I weighed about 90 pounds, and Emmett weighed about 140.
They were J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant. Bryant owned the country store where Emmett and his cousins had stopped to buy candy just a few days earlier.
Well, Emmett and I, we had walked out. We was in the store together. We had walked out of the store, and Mrs. Bryant came out behind us, and she was walking towards a car, and then Emmett whistled at her, and it scared us half to death.
The whistle at Carolyn Bryant, Roy Bryant's wife, was a joke to the 14-year-old from Chicago, who was always trying to make his cousins laugh. He didn't understand the unspoken rules of the segregated South.
Color didn't mean anything to him. I mean, you're a human being. We're all the same. So he grew up like that.
Emmett Till's family called him Bobo, and this is what he looked like before August 28, 1955. Simeon describes that day as the longest day of his life, and the first day there was no laughter in his childhood home. Emmett's body was found 3 days later in the Tallahatchie River. It was tied to a cotton gin.
The body was so badly damaged that we couldn't hardly just tell who he was, but he happened to have on a ring with his initials.
Simeon's father identified the body before it was sent to Emmett's mother, Mamie Till Mobley, in Chicago.
I didn't see the ear. Where's the ear? And that's when I discovered a hole about here, and I could see daylight on the other side.
Mrs. Mobley wanted the world to see what she saw. She left her son's casket open at the funeral for the thousands who came. Even more would see his face on the cover of Jet magazine, where 12-year-old Simeon saw it for the first time.
At 12, I know I didn't understand it all, but I understood what I saw. I saw the injustices that took place, and it affected me.
It's taken more than 50 years for him to talk about his cousin's death. He shares his pain in the book Simeon's Story, the very first eyewitness account of Emmett Till's kidnapping.
I was enraged and embittered by the verdict. I saw for the first time the evil that was in the heart of the segregationists.
The all-white jury found J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant not guilty in the murder trial, and there was never a trial for the kidnapping.
I was angry, yes, because of what happened. Because the justice system in Mississippi failed us. Our neighbors failed us. Leaving that trial, looking back at the white population rejoicing because these men was acquitted. I had the thought in my head, I said, we had no one to help us.
Did you hate those white men?
I don't think I know how to hate, but I wanted to get even. I wanted the revenge.
Simeon and his family moved from Mississippi to Chicago not long after the trial, but the distance could not erase his anger.
If I was provoked, we'd try to get even. Now, I remember one case, there was a young lady in my classroom, she was from Alabama, and she did something, nothing serious, and I think I slapped her.
He turned to alcohol early in his adulthood, until something unexpected happened one night at a Chicago bar.
At age 22, God forgave me of my sins. That's what changed me, really. When I was sitting in this tavern, and I heard the voice of the Lord said, if you die in your sins, you're going to hell. And man, I tell you, my life wasn't the same again.
That voice inspired him to forgive the men responsible for the death of his cousin.
Needless to say, the death of Bobo and the acquittal of his murderers left the hole in my heart.
How did you learn to forgive them?
Forgiveness is something, it's not easy. Just because I said that, it wasn't an easy process. It's a process that you have to, it's an act of your will, you have to do it and then fight through it. And then the deliverance comes.
At 67, Simeon says he has also forgiven Carolyn Bryant, the woman who testified Emmett did much more than just whistle. She is Emmett's only surviving accuser. And Simeon passed away less than a year ago. Stay with us, we'll be right back. CBN International is helping teach children in Africa about Jesus. Last week, a Superbook Club in a remote village in Senegal hosted a special celebration. Families saw the work their children have done in their Superbook Club for the school year. Children also sang and danced with Superbook character Gizmo, played games, and watched an episode of Jonah. At the end, more than half of the children invited Jesus into their hearts. Even the chief of the village, a Muslim man, came to thank CBN for the partnership. Right now, it is time for your Tuesday Tweetable. Today is a great day to think about the needs of someone else. Ask God to show you how to be the answer to someone else's prayer. It's actually what He's calling you to do. Take the focus off you and place it on being the hands and feet of the God you serve. With that word, I encourage you to make this a terrific Tuesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And we would love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today, or any day for that matter. You can begin doing that by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While the show may be wrapping right now, the news continues 24/7 at cbnnews.com. We would love to hear from you. And of course, you can join us right back here tomorrow. Hope you will do just that. Once again, I encourage you to make this a terrific Tuesday and get out and do something for someone else besides yourself. Be the hands and feet of Jesus today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless you.